ready for your intro, bro? You ready? Like we always do cold opens, you know.
Sure.
Like you know me, man. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But I'm trying to tell people who's on the podcast.
Yeah. Seems like a good idea.
According to ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
Who is Andi Duro? Ready? Andi Duro is a software developer and entrepreneur, best known as the founder of Twocents Software, a startup exploring innovative approaches to financial transparency and social media. Dude.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Me and you couldn't write that.
I would not say
right?
that.
Like we could workshop that for like 4 hours here
Mhm.
and it wouldn't be that crystal clear. So now you have an actual intro. Welcome to the David Noble Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
First question, dude. How'd you end up on the show? Like, let's back it up.
Yeah.
Did you see the clip or did someone show you the clip?
So I never check LinkedIn, but
Okay.
I have it on my phone. And I woke up, I think at like 6 a.m. and I had like 50 reacts to this random post I don't remember making because I never post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And it was because you guys tagged me and I saw this clip of myself and Akash was there. And I was like, I know Akash knows you. But then you were like randomly brought up my picture because the video was still muted at the time. And I just see myself pop up and I'm like, what? Like, what's happening? And Twocents I'd been building kind of in stealth, like not really, but I hadn't told anyone in my public life that I've been doing this. It's all been online on Twitter. And then when you guys came out with that, I was like, yeah, what the hell? Like, I'll tell everyone about it now.
Right.
I'm pretty proud of what we have so far. So it'll work.
Well, people have been wondering. So the show's about a year old. People have been wondering, what is the show? Who owns it? All this stuff. And like, I've been intentionally ambiguous about it. Like, so, Uconn owns it, man. Like, and they're like giving me conflict of interest conversation. I'm like, look, guys, like there is nothing in my life and in my brain that doesn't relate to the last 15 years here at Uconn.
Right.
Nobody I talk to, nobody I care about doesn't relate somehow. Whether they're from totally outside, I brought them in, or they're from in and they just have stuck with us. So I believe the quote was like, my favorite geek or something like that. Is that it? And so here you are following up Miss America, coming in. My favorite geek rolls in the perfect shirt.
Yep.
You look like a software engineer.
Yep.
You know? Do you remember the first time we met?
No.
Can you guess
actually.
it? I know.
I think it was that like a dinner, right?
No, it wasn't at a dinner the first time we met. The first time we met, I'm pretty sure, was at the IQ event.
Oh, when we were doing Dropboard.
When you were doing Dropboard.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that was also the day I found Andrew Burns doing his best serial killer imitation up in the top crowd. And I remember positioning myself by the door in a way so that Andrew couldn't get out without having to talk to me, just based upon his eyes. So Dropboard, we go way back. You are one of my favorite geek students that came into the orbit around Worth Institute when we started setting up these conversations, mixers, pizza parties, all that sort of stuff at the beginning. And like, me and Chris, and Chris from CEO, I think, and where's Andi? What's going on? So Twocents, man.
Yeah.
Can you give me an explanation of what Twocents is?
Twocents is Reddit, but your username is your net worth.
And so how do you validate the net worth?
So we have third-party vendors that will connect to your actual bank account and your actual brokerage, and you log in with your bank account or with your brokerage login, and we'll pull the numbers. And it's read-only, like I can't do anything to your account, but I can get a real number updated every day.
So net worth is assets minus liabilities. How do you get my liabilities?
So they're not in the app yet, but we're working on student loans and mortgages. Eventually, I want to do real estate property appraisals and also commercial real estate because those are the biggest sources of net worth. We're also going to add credit cards. Wow. So you can have credit card limits and possibly include that as part of your net worth and stuff like that. But the vast majority of Americans, their net worth comes from real estate. It's like a house they own. So once you can show that plus your 401k, that covers like 99% of people. Yeah.
Also, like, there's one entrepreneur at Uconn that I showed up and started meeting him, and he's very controversial, very public, like 3-4 million TikTok followers, everything, and it's controversial content. And he's like, I don't want to bring any bad juju to Worth or Uconn or this. He's like, I'm a troll. Like, I'm supposed to be a troll. Like, that's what I do. And I'm like, oh, dude, I don't care. Like, you're one of us, right? But do you know how big this is? Right? And I've seen you do some stupid shit in your day. And you mentioned Dropboard, which isn't the worst idea you've ever had or ran with or even worked on.
Yeah.
But do you know how big Twocents is? Yeah.
I have a good idea.
Yeah.
The way I've been pitching it to people outside of the obvious value of the company and the data that we'll collect and all the things that we'll be able to do, it is possibly the greatest idea I've had for springboarding to interesting people around the entire world.
Yeah.
Where you will judge people on their net worth, but you will also judge them on the content. And anyone who does anything always has interesting stories. And this is like a place to tell them. And it's a place to be able to find, oh, you work in oil, I work in aviation. Let's figure out how to meet in person. And all you know is that this guy's successful in oil and I'm successful in aviation.
So what about David Noble, who's poor?
Right.
But interesting sometimes.
So what we want to do is to add a reputation system. So in addition to having a balance, you'll also have maybe like diamonds or something. Right. That'll be the amount of times you were right about something.
Ooh.
What I want to do to begin with. Are you going to
have prediction markets in here?
Kind of. I want to do like you do some due diligence analysis on a stock and you say that by this date, stock X will be worth Y. And the app will track that. And other people will be able to go back to your post and say that you were right or wrong about this.
This is what I've always needed.
And even if you have no money, people are still going to be like, oh, this guy's interesting. Let me follow him. And in fact, it would be even more interesting if you keep being right and you still have no money.
This is my problem in life. I have a little bit of money, but
right.
Not really. I'm working rich, right? But
you
that's
are
public
very
sector.
Much
that's public sector.
You are very much the target audience for this.
Right. How do you value, like, because like, all right, so my net worth is opposite of 99% of the world. It's in a pension and it's in privately held securities that I have some interest in, right? How do you start to think about those things?
I think stuff like that, most things trend towards digital access. So your pension has like a login page. And if it's not possible through the third-party vendors, if something is popular enough, then we'll just do it ourselves. We'll reverse engineer the login page. We'll do a custom login for you.
See, that's why you're my favorite geek, man.
Like you can solve it. You can obviously solve it.
Not obvious to me. I'm an idiot like you.
But it's technically possible.
Technically possible.
The way I look at this stuff is it's like, what are the legal repercussions? How do we do privacy policies? Like all the stuff around it. I know how to do the thing. It's just like, how do we wrap it into the company, not get sued? How do we not piss people off, but also let them do the things that they want to do?
I think this is a huge app. And I have my own monetization schematics in my head. When I heard it, I was like, Andy's on another fucking stupid, chaotic. He's chasing windmills. And then one night I woke up and I was like, Andy's fucking geniused it.
Yep.
By the way,
that happens to a lot of people.
Yep. By the way, Andrew Burns has geniused it too.
Yep.
And whether he's gonna capture the value or not, that's an entirely different thing. But like both of you guys are two guys I'd bet on. And I look at it and I start to think to myself, wow, this is a big app. This is stupid. And it's just stupid enough. If people get on it, it swallows. It's 10 cents, not 2 cents, man. I see it very clearly. Because you're never going to get me to give my financial data to Twitter. I'm never going to give it to Zuckerberg.
Nope.
Never.
This is the moat, by the way. The moat is you have to start with this at the very beginning. It is impossible to tack this onto Reddit or Twitter or any of these other free services. They will never do this.
Yeah.
They can't.
They can't.
Their users will hate it.
Right.
I have to select for the type of person that would give their banking information to a social media app. And that's all who's going to be on it.
Yeah, in which once you have a critical mass, then other people come.
Yeah.
And they will come and they will do it. And it's like, so when I was a kid, dude, and we first got like cell phones and then we got the internet. And like, we'll never put our credit card info. Like, I'll never buy anything on the internet. Like, how could you trust this? And I think I was like, oh, yeah, how do I get my invite? That was like, once I woke up that morning, I was like, how do I get my invite? How do I get on his thing?
It's a very big generational divide, I found. All the Zoomers I talk to, they're all like, this is so fucking funny. Like, please let me get on this. And then I pitch it to people. I think the age is maybe 30, past 30. People are like, what are you talking about? Why would anyone do this? And that was running the beta was very helpful in this regard because that was also an untested assumption. I had no idea if people would do this or not. And then I added brokerage support and immediately it was like people were hooking up accounts with 200,000, 400,000 because I have notifications set up. Every time someone adds something, I see it. I don't know who it's from because it's anonymous, but I see the number and it's like 50,000, 100,000. The top person right now, I think, has $1.3 million connected through this app.
That's not a big number.
That's not a big number. That's what I mean. So if you're looking at this and you're like, I could beat that guy, why wouldn't you sign up?
Right now.
Right now.
I'm the top guy
you could
on
be.
this app.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the thing.
And especially if you see this guy, the top guy, saying something that's clearly wrong, that you know is wrong, there's going to be a little tugging feeling in your head. That's like, I have a bigger number than this guy and I'm right.
A lot.
And all I have to do is just sign up to own this guy in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that?
It's the heavyweight boxing championship of two cents.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
No, the dude, I like got it one day and I was like, oh man, can't believe this.
That Andy came up with this.
No. I can believe it because it's just crazy enough that Andy came up with it. But I can't believe, what I couldn't believe is how stupid my thought process was I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like,
yeah.
I get like, yeah, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, oh, if you get people to care, then you get this data and you cross it with this data. And now you're crossing it with this. And like, oh, you have a massive machine. And you put opinion and reputation info in there.
It is, we want to separate the signal from the noise. Net worth is one way to do that. It's not the only way. There are obviously lots of other ways to prove credibility. But for people who bankroll operations, and that's their main thing, is they just, like, imagine you're a dentist and you have a ton of money and you don't know what to do with it. You want to take advice from people who have been there, done that. And Twocents is effectively the only place in the entire world on the internet where you can do this. There are financial forums, there are startup forums, angel investment forums, but you have no idea what anyone is talking about, like what they're backing it up with.
Right.
They don't show numbers. Twocents, the only thing you do show is your number. You don't know anything else about them, but you know that they're loaded.
Yep. Or not.
Or not.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Here it is. This is the new part of the show. We always go to ChatGPT for something as well beyond the introduction.
Okay.
In this case, we asked it, what celebrity does Andi Duro look like? What do you got? What's your guess?
Oh, man. I have no idea.
All right.
I don't get that a lot.
Plot twist. ChatGPT says there might be some confusion between two individuals named Andrea Duro and Andy. Do you know Andrea?
I do not.
Well, Andrea is a Spanish actress born in 1991. That is not you.
She could play me in the documentary.
No, she can't. So then we got ChatGPT squared away with back to who you were, Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
Yeah.
He was in War Dogs.
Yes, he was.
It's a movie
He was
about
good in War Dogs.
Albanian gun smuggling.
Albanian gun smuggling is an important part of the world. You Albanian?
Absolutely agree. Yes.
Yeah. See, you guys have killed all the Greek mafia. You've killed them all.
Like,
when you go to Greece, there's no more Greek mafia. There's just Albanian.
Just Albanians.
Yeah. They also like to smuggle people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have a trilogy about that.
Yeah. Do they? Which one?
Taken.
Taken.
Oh,
Is that yeah, with Liam Neeson?
Yep.
They should have stuck at number 1 and not gone to 2.
There was a controversy a few years back from the Albanian Tourism Board because they ran an ad that said "Get taken by Albania."
Oh yeah, that's bad.
People were seeing this on like subways and trains around Europe, and they're like, "What are they talking about?"
So one of my favorite people in the world is Albanian. His name was Taka. He used to own right around the corner. It was called Minetta's Restaurant. It's still called that, Minetta's Tavern, but it's a different owner and like really hot. It's nowhere near as cool as it used to be. But Taka was from Albania.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there so many criminals in Albania? Or why are Albanians such good criminals? Either way.
I think it is because capitalism didn't exist in Albania until 91 when the communism fell. And when you first get exposed to capitalism, your first thing is like, wow, I could be a really good criminal.
Yeah.
Like before you get into the high-end criminality, which is like banking, right?
Right. Yeah.
You have to work your way
the
up.
Real
to
criminals.
Yeah.
You got to work your way up.
Petty theft.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're like, oh, I could like commoditize securities. But you have to go through the process.
Absolutely. From drug smuggling and human trafficking, eventually you get to large scale actual crime where they don't put you in jail.
Right.
It's also like, like genocide, you don't end up in jail.
Right.
But like you murder one person.
Yeah, it's 1 million people is the statistic.
Right.
As they say.
Yeah. That's it. So, all right, man. Like what's going on in life with you? Since Uconn, what have you been up to?
It has been a very bizarre journey, but it's been fun, I would say.
Did you ever graduate?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Last
time we really talked to you.
Begrudgingly. I did not enjoy graduating, but I did do it.
Yeah. Good.
I went into consulting for a year. That was fun. I was doing... me. I was like... I distinctly remember the day I decided to quit was not the day I actually quit, but I remember taking a shower as I did every day. And I was like... That's
good. That's a good start.
Also very good, yeah. And
we had a guess. She the number one thing she doesn't want to do is shower. So if she gets rich enough, she's going to stop showering.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
There are a couple of people who have very peculiar opinions about showering.
Annabeth Mann. She's a comedian here in the East Village. If you get a chance, check her out. I think she's the funniest person in New York City right now.
Ooh, hot take.
Good
to know.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like I could keep doing this every day for the next 10 years and it would be fine. Like it wouldn't be exceptional. It wouldn't be terrible. It would just be fine. And I think that really scared me.
Yeah.
I think I was like, oh man, I'm going to be 33 or whatever because I was 23 at the time. And I would just have like fast forwarded through 10 years of my life and not done anything or not had any good stories.
What's your best story then? Since then?
There are so many. There are so many.
You gotta have one. What's the one that comes to mind first?
I met the CTO of OpenAI because my mom showed me a post about her on LinkedIn. And I posted it on Twitter. And I was like, it's my mom, at the time I was doing an AI startup.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom shows up and she shows me her phone. And it's like a picture of Mira Murati. She's like, Andy, she's Albanian too. And she's a startup founder. Like, you should talk to her.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let me talk to
let me just go call the CTO.
The top startup of all the years and just be like, hey, do you want to give me some advice as like some random guy?
Yeah.
But this post went viral and Mira saw it. And then she messaged me and she was like, you should always listen to your mom.
Yeah, there you go.
And
good advice, right?
This transpired into me going to San Francisco and actually meeting her. And I got coffee with her.
Awesome.
And I was completely like out of left field, very random, not planned in any way. But it's a good example of what happens when you focus on surface area instead of focusing on luck.
Yeah.
This is like a Sam Altman quote. It's like you increase your surface area for opportunity.
Sam Altman in here, huh?
I brought Mira. Like it's the same.
I got his, like weird.
Yeah, he's basically here with us.
Yeah.
But
do you take Elon or Sam?
It's very difficult.
Very difficult. Neither. Andi Duro. That's who I take. Andi Duro.
Yeah. Bet on yourself.
And Akash.
Yeah. I think
I'll go to war with that army.
It's a good army.
Yeah.
I think what I undervalued or discounted when I first quit my job, because I got my termination papers on my 24th birthday.
Excellent.
Which was not planned also. But it was just like, I woke up, it was my birthday. They said, happy birthday. I went to look at the messages and then I got kicked out of Teams because they deleted my account while I was reading the messages. And I was like, oh, well, I guess like
I
that's
guess
life.
I don't work here anymore.
Yeah.
People
And-
treat me like an asshole when I stand in class and I go, how many of you think you're going to get fired or laid off due to really no fault of your own?
Yeah.
And they're like, nobody raises their hand. And I'm like, all right, hey, 80% of you guys.
Right. Yeah. It's really scary the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never happened to me, but I'm sure it's scary.
Yeah.
But like, once you do it the first time, you're like, oh, this is all kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is that you have infinite redos until you're like 27, 28, and then things start to matter.
Maybe.
But you can do whatever you want.
Maybe.
Like,
I'm 47 and I think I still have infinite redos.
You can
I'm
still,
redoing, bro.
yeah.
I'm redoing.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm redoing.
Nobody pays that much attention to your track record.
Nobody cares about you.
Nobody cares.
Only you.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. You know what? Your track record is what you shine on it, and your integrity matters, and like more so to yourself, I think, and how you then talk about things and bring things forward and what you can focus on. But you're absolutely right. How many times I've said to people, "Oh, you're afraid to do that?" Like nobody cares. Like the podcast, we're just saying, like people that don't do anything will shit on you doing the podcast because you only have X number of followers, or you have this, or you're not Theo Vaughn. And it's like, well, dude, that guy did 750 podcasts plus another 1,000 on top of it.
Yep.
I've done 20. I've done, I'm up to like 50 now, 50, 60. Right? Like, I'm not good at this.
I consistently, like Burns and I hang out pretty often in the city, and I consistently think about how he doesn't remember any of my failures, even though he was there for them.
Yeah.
And I don't remember any of his.
Right.
We've been friends for like 10 years, and I can't name a failed startup that he did. Like, I know he did, and he knows I did, but it doesn't matter.
No, I'm like, oh, this is a guy that can build something.
It's like whatever the next thing is, always the next thing.
I'm gonna make him. So I'm getting a little like, I gotta text him back, like, dude, let's do this or let's not do this.
Yeah.
I feel you, I understand, but like, there's a cost to venture back startups, right? And if you're a venture back startup, you gotta pay the price.
Yep.
And like, your business is a venture back startup, and it's a sell, and it's like build it really fast and sell it, and like, I gotta get with him, but we gotta bring him in on the pod because he's also, he's a serial killer.
Oh yeah.
He's a serial killer.
I mean, I think he's the only other person I know at Uconn who took building seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
That was like the point of building something is to get people to use it.
Period.
And not to put it on a resume or on a website and show that you like built something.
Dude, last time I saw you was not when you quit Uconn. It was you were sitting in the freaking car driving someone on your damn app. Dude, you're right. Yep. You're absolutely right. And like, I can remember what is the app where you would split up the cost of the food?
Yeah.
And Andrew says to me, I don't even know these people using it. And I'm like, this is awesome.
See, you forgot the name too. It was like, we both were there for that.
I don't care that it failed. It was a stupid idea. But what
people
was
used
cool
it.
is he built it, deployed it,
Yep.
and people used it and tried it. And
I remember
he learned from that.
The first version of Dropboard that got users was so impactful for me as like a critical life reflection point, I think. Dropboard, for context, was this app where you could drop like a whiteboard anywhere in your location and other people could open this whiteboard and draw on it. And it would be like a multiplayer drawing experience, but it was grounded in your location nearby. So we launched at Uconn, and people were dropping whiteboards at lecture halls. They were doing it at like specific special areas on campus, in residence halls. And I remember going on a walk through campus and just opening random boards and seeing what people had drawn. And some people had drawn like sunflowers, like cute little things. People were doing polls, like tallies, a lot of other stuff that we hadn't thought about. And it was really special to see something and be like, I wrote the server for that. Or like Akash wrote the front end for this. And nobody knows this. None of these people using this app know what we did. But it didn't matter.
I sold that like 18 hats that say the David Noble Show.
Yeah. And like someone's going to wear that somewhere important. It's going to show up in a TikTok somewhere.
Right.
And you're going to be like.
It's just funny that people bought it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I wear it. And people are like, your name's on your hat, right? That's what I love about me.
Right.
I'm the guy that wears my name on my hat.
Right.
But the idea that someone bought it and I put it in the mail and shipped it to them, like, I don't need $37, $34. But man, I need to like create, like, this is where I'm at, is like, I need to create something that has, it's not just users, but changes how things are done.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've got 47 years of experience on this earth, and I got 30 left to convert on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear it. I remember going to, let me see if this resonates with you at all. I remember being dragged to Hamilton. You ever seen that play?
Yep.
All right. I remember it being like, I don't want to go to this. It's a musical about people that are clearly, like, people are going to not know about the founding fathers because they're going to think it's like, you know, it's like was he Puerto Rican or Dominican? Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican. This Puerto Rican guy is Alexander Hamilton. Like, what, this is stupid. And I walked in and I just sat there and I was like, oh my God, this is like my internal monologue nonstop. Like the running out of time. Like, you're like, oh my God, I know exactly. Like the need to like execute something, to change the world, to open it. I'm like, I understand this. Like, I know what this person's going through. And now having built the Worth Institute and having seen how inside of the bureaucracy, how they F things up, it's like, all right, let's back up. What can I go do? Right? Yeah, I know that I know you're one of the tribe.
There is one of the people I follow penned this really great essay called Bureaulogy, just the study of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And the abstract is basically like, what are these common traits and patterns between organizations? And how can you twist this to your advantage, given that these patterns keep reemerging at every level of every organization? Like whenever you put humans together, things like this keep happening. And it was like, well, this could be an actual field of science, like not just in passing, but you can actually have people like archivists looking at old corporations like Enron and being like, how did they do that? Like, how did they mess everything up?
I was there.
Yeah, and like looking at the Iraq War or other things like this, because all of these are organizations and they all fail for pretty basic, like 5th grade kindergartner reasons. You don't need to be a genius to see it.
Do you need to start 2 cent to see it? 2 cents?
I think there will be an
I'm changing it to 2 cent. We're rebranding.
2 cent.
Yeah. We're going to steal 10 cents logo and rebrand and then like go to war.
The handle on all the social media is 2 Cent Inc. So we're halfway there.
Yeah.
But I found it really fascinating that the people who do seem to climb hierarchies really well play a meta game on top of the actual game.
Yeah, I hate those people.
Yeah, the strivers.
I want to destroy them.
Yeah.
I want to build things I want to build a platform that allows the creators to create the future. That's where my head is going.
This is why you have the sense of time running out.
Correct.
Because all of these platforms, when they first start, they have the 100 real believers. But then when it becomes a status symbol to have, let's say like a Reddit account or a TikTok account, then you get the strivers and the metagamers and the people who are trying to optimize for the algorithm. And it's not the core idea anymore.
Yeah, I need to not care. I don't want to build social media. I want to build an actual platform where you come in and we find the most talented 3 out of 4 interviews I've hit this. I'm not good. I talk with my hands. Where you find the best creators and you build it around them. Because like these things extend and they're busy building that thing. And it's like, oh, can we multiply that?
Yep.
And that's where I'm going. One
of my pet peeves with venture capital is that this is what it started out as. And then they added the strivers. And now it's being morphed more into private equity.
100%.
Where it's like you get these people.
It's a mathematical approach. How fast can you deploy capital and get 2% return?
But it's like the people that you meet with or face with, it's like they're salty they didn't get into BlackRock.
Yeah.
And instead of going and doing venture capital, which is like vibes-based investing, it's like, this guy's a cool idea, let's see where it goes. They have a checklist and they invent all these rules that are like, oh, you need a multiple of this, or you need an ARR, or you need users or traction or whatever. And it's like, you're just trying to be BlackRock, but worse.
Yeah.
Just go work at
And
BlackRock.
you're just picking. Yeah. You're just picking. And like realistically, the way you win in venture capital is deploy fast.
Yeah.
And
large
deploy
surface area.
large surface area.
Yeah.
It's super simple.
Yeah.
Like literally the job for the dumbest people in the world, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
And why are we calling it venture partners? Because like we want to be building with them. But recognizing that I don't want to be CEO because I'm not CEO, and I don't want to be CTO because I'm not CTO. What am I? I'm a guy that can help you find other people like you.
Yeah, super connector.
Right. And like I bring a lot of energy. And if I believe in your project, I'll work on it for free today. Or for as low amount of money as I can possibly get away with if you're willing to give me some equity, right?
Yeah.
Like if I believe in you or your project, like I'm in. Like, okay, now we find out how to get me in.
I will say my favorite types of venture investors, which I was very lucky, this was my first angel check, was a guy who was basically like, I don't know where this is going to go, but I know you. Yeah. And I know that you will keep doing stuff like this until something works and something bangs.
Yeah.
And it's worth it for our percent, whatever equity we get, just to keep you alive and keep you going so that we could see like what this morphs into. 2 cents may or may not be the last thing that blows up, but it's on the path there. Like everyone can see that there's a kernel here that you can just keep heating up until it pops. And so investing on people instead of ideas is good. And it makes way more sense than the checklist stuff.
Oh my God. And then, the other piece we have sort of is like, here, you want to know the real arbiter of whether we're going to invest our time and effort and money into you?
Yeah, go for it.
Are we willing to travel with you? If I ain't putting you in my car for 3 hours and driving to stores,
right,
I'm not fucking investing with you. If I'm not, if I'm going to be miserable that I got to go spend a weekend with you running around Palo Alto, fuck it. Like, that's not worth my time.
Yeah, so like, that like me and you would have fun.
Right.
With whatever we do.
Right.
We would get into situations.
And I have a wide range of right? Like I'm not looking for a party. I'm not looking for an intellectual, like I can get any of those things from my network that I want.
Yep.
So why you? Right now, I'm like getting ready to do a deal that has no cash involved and no equity, but an asset. And I want that fucking asset. And I believe in the person creating the asset. And I'm like, oh my God, you're going to work with me? Don't tell her, but I do it for free.
Right.
Right. And my partner, same thing. She's like, oh, we're in on this.
Yep.
This is $1 billion person. They might never get there. But that's where our valuation is 10 to 11 figures in that person.
Yeah, it's if they get stuck at 300 million, who cares?
Who gives a shit? Who cares? Speaking of Uconn founders and great people and people you want to travel with, find the good brand, man. Jack Tarka. You ever met him?
I don't think so.
Well, you're about to get a sweatshirt, bro.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're about to get a sweatshirt. What size?
Large.
I think you got a choice here. Jack has... So last semester, you would have got underwear. Yeah, organic underwear. It's better for your balls. No microplastics.
I haven't thought in semesters in a while, but...
Yeah, seasons, but...
We'll take it.
What do you want, man? Chocolate or cream?
We'll do chocolate.
There
I don't have anything chocolate in my wardrobe, I think.
Pull it out.
That's cool.
3 simple words, man.
Find
the good. That's Jack's mantra.
So how do you know this guy?
Dude, he's one of you.
Was he below us, right? Below my grade?
Yeah, of course. We call that in the real world, we call that younger than you.
Younger, yeah.
Yeah, he's younger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's the next generation that came after. You guys are like the founding fathers of entrepreneurship at Uconn, right?
I will run with that motto.
Yeah, and mothers. Like I don't, know, we had a good group of women, and they're doing some cool things as well. So I don't want to be too gender discriminatory, but let's call it founding fathers for whatever. And then like there's another generation, and like right now I'm only doing e-commerce. I don't want to talk to a kid that's doing an app. Like dude, this ain't 2014. Like you got it, you got users, come talk to me for sure. But if you got an idea about technology, like get the fuck out of my face, because like I need a technical founder. Fuck you, then get the hell out of here. I hate students that come to me an idea and they say, I need a technical founder. Oh, so you're going to go try to convince some dude that's talented and worth money to build your stupid idea for free.
Right.
No. Go get on YouTube, build yourself a no-code bullshit, put it out there, get yourself some users, and I bet the first people that use your shit, there's going to be a technical founder in there. Yeah. Right? Like first adopters of any new technology are going to be people that know how to build.
I mean, you can make money without writing code. I think this is also important, and it's very undervalued. When I was doing Doggo, I think one of my biggest mistakes was being too technical in the beginning, where it should have just been a phone number and a spreadsheet to connect people to rides at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then once I had that first layer of users, then I could be like, all right, here's the app. And I spent too much time building and not enough time distributing and getting people to understand that this was a thing they could even do. Once you know and you have an app, even if the app sucks, you're still going to use it. Because like, what's your competition? It's like Uber, and Uber is going to cost $6 per minute or whatever. So business building doesn't require programming. But if you're doing a software business, then you kind of got to get really good at that part of getting users and getting them to use some no-code contraption, which in itself is a skill. If you can get people to use a spreadsheet.
It's like a filter. It's the easiest filter in the world at this point.
Yeah.
You can build something. So if you're coming to me with an idea, you're
you haven't tried.
You're not getting to me.
Yeah.
You were talking about it as you walked in. You're not getting access to me.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up.
I've got 5 emails in the last 2 weeks.
I think in a previous pod, you talked about how you intentionally try to make yourself hard to access to users or to students. And I thought that was really fascinating because it mirrors a lot of other high power, like high agentic figures that I have met in my lifetime, where it's like, they're not opposed to meeting new people and talking to them. Like they will give anyone a shot, but you have to figure out how to play the game, at least to get to that first meeting.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this person has pulled at least a little string.
Yep.
To be able to figure this out, because the entire thing is pulling strings. And if you can't pull the first string, then why would anyone bother?
Worth Innovators now is almost entirely like, it's not about what you built. It's about who recommends you.
Yeah.
How'd you find us?
Mm-hmm.
And walking in the front door and convincing Kathy that, we should give you a couple $1,000, that might be the first thing. Or it might be, David Wimet, right? Like says, oh, you got to know this person. Or it could be Andi Duro texts me and says, David, my cousin's there. Like, you want to talk to this person. I don't care the string they pull. It's did they get there and do that? And so starting to set up those filtration mechanisms of, do you understand what we're doing? And I think it's really, you're going to have some false positives. You're going to have some false negatives still, but at least it's something, right?
The great irony of all of this is that there's a lot of counterintuitive plays that go into it. So it'll be like the best venture capital deals you can ever find are when you have no deck, but you have traction with lots of users and people are trying to ride your coattails. Mm-hmm. But it's the exact situation in which you shouldn't take venture capital, because you could just monetize on your own and you'll be fine. The best technical products to make are for up and coming creators who already have large audiences, where you don't build the product and then get the audience. You build the product for the audience that already exists. But those are the exact people that are not going to care about building a product.
You buddies with Jason Levin on Twitter?
We follow each other.
The meme lord.
Yep.
I was going to introduce you. If not, he's on the show.
Yeah.
One of my personal heroes. I've had 2 interviews where I just sat back and listened to someone talk, and he was one of them.
There are people who will build a brand around humor and creativity and just like shit posting, but there's a clear A to B in the background. That's like, there's a tree that's being climbed right now. I don't know what the tree is, but they clearly have a plan, and they're going to leverage humor and fun and being a good personality to get there.
I wish I could shit post. I can shit talk. I can't shit post.
It was, I fell into it. I didn't do it for any of the followers or anything like that. I was just really bored in Willimantic, Connecticut after I
Well,
graduated.
that's right. Didn't you have? Yes.
I was stuck there for a year. It was the worst year of my life.
Yeah, that's the worst place in the world to be stuck. But I'm now recalling this shit posting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was spending like a lot of time just staring at my ceiling in Willimantic. And then eventually I was like, I should figure out how to make friends online, because all of my Uconn friends left the state and they went to work at their FANG jobs or whatever. They moved to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I was going to do, but I got really lucky early on in Twitter. I got added to some, what ended up being very life-changing group chats, which is just a group chat. But there were a lot of people in this group chat that were
dead now on X, huh?
Yeah. There's still a underbelly, but it's very much like people found out about it.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's strained. But I met a lot of people in New York, and there was a streak of time in my life where I was driving down to New York every weekend in between my full-time job. So I would like take my car, I would go on the Merit, Saturday to Sunday. I'd come back at like 3 a.m. on Monday and then go to work at 9. And I did this maybe like 10 or 20 times in a row before I was like, this is stupid. I should just live here.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up here. Like the whole reason of me moving was because of this Twitter group chat. And then I started meeting people in person, and I undervalued this after I quit. But when I did quit, I didn't really have a big idea yet. I was working on some stuff, and I had a first iteration AI startup that we had a product that was making money and it was doing well. But then we got killed because the Twitter API switched to a paid model. So that got wiped out. But the first 2 months in New York, I was just meeting people constantly. And my full-time job was just like getting coffee with people. And this did unbelievable amounts of goodness to my network, to know all of these people that are doing all these things that could connect me to other people.
That's how I got into crypto.
Yeah, and I was
just looking at a deal with Kraken the other day, and like, I remember when Jesse was like half a homeless dude in New York City.
It's a very common story, right? It's like everyone just blows up one day.
Yeah.
And unless you were there every day, it just looks like an overnight success.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I think what this taught me the most is the value of your followers matters way more than the number. My most proud days on Twitter were when I still had like 400 followers, because I knew all of them by name, and I had met them and I got coffee with them in New York. And I was like, that guy works at this place and they're doing these things. Like I met some people's kids.
Yep.
Just because they got lunch with me on Twitter. And now I think I'm at like 22,000 followers or something. I will never meet all of those people. They know more about me than I know about them. But back in those days, in the early days, it was just a smaller version of Facebook.
What's your Twitter?
It is very hard to pronounce, which is really funny for SEO reasons. Yeah. It's Nexuist, Nexuist. My banner is the Twitter bird, copy and pasted and reflected to look like the Albanian flag.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad we finally plugged something. So we got Twocents, we got your Twitter account.
Twitter.
I never do that shit. I just talk about random stuff, and then the time runs out. All right, man. We have a couple more moments here. Got a question. I want to give you the opportunity. We've been running this Who is David Noble, right? Like sometimes we pull them out, sometimes we do whole episodes, because people say they don't know who I am or what I am. And so when we bring someone on that's known me for a number of years, we ask them like sort of like, what's the question that you've always had or that you want to ask that, you know, you never knew the answer to?
About you?
Yeah, about me.
Oh, that's a great opportunity, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't give people a heads up. So if they don't see that segment, they don't know. So it's like, it's kind of like fucking yeah. Cause then like 8 hours from now, you're going to be like, oh, I should ask this.
I think you made a very intentional choice to get into academia.
Yeah.
That makes no sense for the type of person that you wanted to strive to be. And I always wondered what your grand plan was there, where you are a real academic, so like you have a PhD and stuff, but you clearly have higher ambitions than what high education tries to mold people into.
So, I mean, I think you're talking about the factory approach, but like, I don't think that because something is something today, it has to be something tomorrow. So I think that's an important delineation there. I had tried to go into the CIA again, this time after 9/11, and I wanted to do money laundering. Like, I know a lot about money laundering, and I was like, I can figure out how terrorist networks work following money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we think you should go to Iraq and teach the natives about democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the people that do that end up missing and dead, and that's not really for me. I'm thinking more about, staying in Virginia, right, and working with you guys in the office. That maybe a computer, maybe
Right.
some thinking and talking.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, definitely air conditioning. Like, I sweat.
Functional plumbing.
100%. I hate trying to sell a company line, and I don't think I've ever tried to sell that at a university, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have their line, I don't sell it. I sell what I'm passionate about. So that's where that came from. There was a conversation, and I was like, all right, so I'm not going to take that job, and I really want to be in Langley in the air conditioning. Like, what could I do to make that more compelling to you all? And they were like, oh, a PhD in psychology or psychology related stuff would make you more compelling candidate. Because again, they should have taken me, right? Because I knew money laundering, and money's how you find everybody. Like, that's how they found Osama bin Laden, right? Was money. I think they made a mistake because of their filtration mechanism and their check marks, but their check
Many
mark,
such cases.
yeah, but their check mark sent me to a PhD program. And in that PhD program, I picked one thing, management over psychology, because, well, if you get paid 3 times as much when you first graduate,
Right.
It was that simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I should be management, because worst case scenario, I'm gonna make $150,000. So that hit that trigger. One of the other components to doing that was, hey, the only thing I'm truly exceptional at this point in my life is going to school. Like, I'm the best student I've ever met.
Yep.
Right? Like, clearly. So go do, you don't like being a lawyer. You're a good lawyer. You're never going to be a great lawyer. Go do something you're going to be exceptional at and see where it goes. And that was the underlying thought process. And I was totally wrong on what the PhD program was, but I liked it. And I liked it. And then came time to get a job. And I was like, PhD, law degree, doors will open. Everything's good. All right, let's go do something. And then I looked at research jobs. I won some dissertation award, and then, they're trying to recruit you to be a research faculty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nobody reads this paper. No, you're writing for 3 people. Who cares? It's not even important. It's all fake research anyway. It's all, you're projecting this thing, like, whatever. All my colleagues hate when I say that, but,
There's a good life hack I found where if you're trying to read a paper that's behind a paywall or whatever, you just email the authors.
And they send it to you.
They are overjoyed to hear that anyone even found this. So like, oh my God, you actually want to read this?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like, do you mind? And they're like, absolutely.
Oh, I'll give you 10 copies.
They don't make any money from
No.
it. They're not getting royalties for this thing being published.
0. I've never gotten a royalty.
And like, I bet if you just showed up with a random title and was like, you wrote this paper 20 years ago, like, can we talk about it? They would,
The biggest
it would
people,
make their career.
biggest academics in the world will take time
Absolutely.
to respond to that request.
Yeah.
So here's where it comes down to. I really like the students. And I saw an opportunity to deliver a service that was not embedded within the institutions. And it all changed the day I decided not to sit in my office, but go down and sit in front of the cafeteria in Waterbury campus.
Mm-hmm.
And the students would come and talk. And I saw the overwhelming thirst for someone to talk about the things they were interested and cared about. And that's what motivated me for a long period of time through that process. And like, universities are just people. So again, it's an organization. There's issues. It's all the same. So really, it's like, yeah. And it's just like, it was a training ground.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 20 years learning how to identify talent, how to evaluate talent, how to coach talent and how to get the most out of it. And like, to your point, not tell you what to do, but like listen to what you want to do and be like, I could help you here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want help, that's okay. But I could.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how it happened, man. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I was really good at being a student. So keep going to school. Grade like 32 or something.
Yeah.
20, I think it was
Grade
27 grade.
32.
Yeah. Because they used to always ask me, what grade are you in? Like, tell, my 8-year-old niece or something, what grade's Uncle David in?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in grade 32.
Yeah.
You know?
It does keep going up that high.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you've got a law degree and an MBA and a PhD and
I think what I was trying to get at with my question is that there's a reality where the university used you to its aims.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to get at is like, I'm pretty sure you decided to use the university to your own aims. That was like the meta game that you played. And I think you did it successfully.
I think I don't think it was like I don't think it was like a
like I think Uconn benefited from what you did, but they didn't think they would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got 3 national championships now. The last 3,
Yeah.
I got a little stake in those, right?
Right.
And so, that alone. But I think the students and some of the relationships with the alumni and students now are entirely different. Find the good brand. I was like, how do you feel about your experience at UConn? 1 to 1 billion. And he's like 1 billion and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that was, how do you feel about your experience with the Worth Institute, David Noble and his team?
Yeah.
Right. That's his version of UConn.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, no, it's been a great experience. I think I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about how fake people can be. I've learned how real people can be. I've grown into this realization that like everyone has a problem. So like your problems don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You got a problem. I got a problem. Chris over here has got a problem, right? Like we all have problems. I have no idea what your problem is. So why am I judging you or giving you a hard time for this thing?
Mm-hmm.
When you could have something over here that's so much more important than my class.
Right.
Starting on that level, right? Like, and I used to always say that, like, hey, this is just a class. Like, you don't live or die on an A, B, C. So I just think I had a healthy relationship with school and wanted to bring that to education, not to a job.
Yeah. Again, like the counterintuitive irony here is that the less serious you take the class, the more likely you are to do better in it.
Wild, right?
And
like wild.
Like you don't have to be a professional student. You just have to be passionate.
It's not taking it serious. It's the less worried you are about a grade,
yeah,
the more likely you will drive learning and your own learning. But when you're learning like that, it has a magical mushroom effect as well, where everybody around you is learning.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's great or not, like Dropboard, right? Like everybody learned from Dropboard. They touched it and they learned things about themselves. They learned things about technology, et cetera, that you couldn't have done if you didn't build the fucking product and put it in the world, period.
Yeah. I think it's also an epiphany that you can actually just do things like that. And other people will benefit from you chasing your own thing. Like Dropboard was a group of kids trying to do something for Uconn, but it touched a bunch of lives.
Yeah.
And all of those people will remember whether or not they remember at the top of mind, but it'll be like, oh, I remember something like this like 10 years ago. Wow. I remember Andrew was doing this app like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that will change the way that you look at new things that come to your head.
Yeah. I think in TikTok now it's the trend called butterfly effect. Yeah. So, man, I want to thank you for reaching out. And, of course, you're welcome on anytime you want to come and talk.
Thank you for the name drop.
Anytime you have anything to say. And I think that's the message for our cohort, right? Like, we all did something at an exceptional period in time. And I think we have the opportunity to continue doing things. Because the world's only changing faster. So thank you, man. Welcome to the David Noble Show without Chris Mueller, but Chris from Laughing Man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, David.